everybody, and welcome to our latest episode of Needles on the Net. I'm Ethan.
And I'm Deanna. And we're sorry that it's taken us 2 months
to put out
another episode. You might tell from my voice that I have caught the plague, and it's been about a month.
You've been so sick.
And Ethan's body is also broken.
Yeah, you can't tell from my voice, but I am mangled beyond all thought and reason.
So we're just reintegrating back into society now. And
I miss my couch.
Yeah, we thought we should probably update you on all of the amazing things that are happening here.
So many new things in the store. It's a little overwhelming, but bear with us. We've got your back.
Yeah. So Ethan is not going to be here at the store regularly anymore, but he's got some great new knitting adventures that are happening in his life.
Lots of sheep.
Yeah. So Ethan's going to be traveling internationally, and you'll be sending dispatches.
Yeah. A little bit of a tour de fleece, if you will. I'll be sending back info from abroad on knitting stuff that's going on there, keeping up on all the trends internationally that are going on, and of course, I'll be back for every major knitting convention because you can't keep me away.
So we're going to be incorporating that content into the podcast moving forward. And we also have a new staff member that's been joining us over the holiday season.
Whoop, whoop.
So in our last episode, you met Sarah Deeth, who's been doing some sample knitting for us. And she's going to be working here at the store at the very least on Saturdays.
Yeah.
Moving forward. So please give her a warm welcome to our Needles in the Hay family. And Grace is going to be taking up a few more hours a week as well. So that's a little bit of a transition that's going to be happening. And so in this episode, we're going to update you on all the amazing new products that are in the store. So many new
things in the store.
We've got a Brooklyn Tweed virtual trunk show that we're doing for the Deep Fall collection. And just generally getting you ready for your holiday knitting.
So get buckled in. And let's have a little talk about our finished Borrowdale Knits real quick.
So this is my Haskell cardigan.
It turned out great.
It's knit in Lore's Comfort colorway, and it's got baubles. Baubles! So the back is the really cool part.
Yeah, it's quite a showstopper. The columns of baubles and the way that they're used almost as like a finishing aspect of the cable really like ties it in because
it's almost like the cable blooms into a bubble.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's beautiful, like a little fig at the end of a vine.
It's very well thought out.
I really love it. I'm in the Batterstone vest, which turned out, I think, really, really great.
This like crisscross cable pattern is really effective, but it's super easy to do as well. Yeah, it's a really easy pattern to memorize, but it gives you that lovely texture.
And you can also wear it closed. There's instructions in the pattern to add a button closure up here at the top, but I really love it open. And it's got a great little side vent detail that just helps it to kind of sit on the body really comfortably.
Yeah, I love that little vent.
Yeah, and you know what the best part about this was? Because it was knit flat in really reasonable amounts, I knit it on straight needles. And it took like no time. So for all of you out there who are like, hankering for some straight needle action.
You need an excuse to buy the Brittany black walnut needles.
No one needs an excuse to treat themselves to those needles. They're just fantastic.
They're just perfect. Yeah, worth every cent.
No complaints whatsoever.
Anyway, so stay tuned and we'll get you up to date on everything that's happening here in the store.
We're back and wearing totally reasonably sized scarves.
So you guys might know about the jumbo knitting trend. This is
huge.
Yeah. And we've had like a lot of difficulty finding a product to show you that
we really like.
That we like and we think is actually like worthwhile to use.
Exactly. It's hard. It's hard out there in the jumbo knitting world.
And we have found it.
We found it. Just the one thing though.
So Blue Sky Fibers, you will have remembered from a previous podcast that we met them at TNNA. We've got their products in the store right now. So that's a really great reason.
And forever.
Yeah, and forever. To come down and visit. So we have several options. You'll see them here on the table. We're going to go through. We also have this cone of the June Cashmere. Which we brought here because we love, but also for a bit of
visual comparison on, the weft and warped weaving material versus
jumbo
wool stock jumbo braid.
arm knitting. So one of the reasons why we think this is pretty much your best option for jumbo knitting is because it actually has structure.
Yes, it has a chainette and braided construction to it, so it's not just going to shred apart when your small pet or child's foot comes into contact with it.
Exactly. So we really like that, and the fact that it's made from the fine Highland wool.
Oh, it's so nice. It's the same like quality of fiber that goes into their regular wool stock, which we also love.
Yeah, super. We'll talk about it in a second. Super light and fluffy. So it's not merino, like a lot of them are made with merino roving, but we think this is still plenty soft.
So soft.
It's got the structured construction that we really want to see on a yarn, so it's going to last.
Really hold up and be durable, and it comes in 4 really beautiful muted natural tones. So one of the big things to think about if you're knitting in a really exploded texture in size is that it's a lot bigger of a dose of that color.
Yeah, so you want to go with like a really sophisticated neutral.
Yeah, even this like warmer, richer, like neutrally brown gray is not a tone I would naturally tend towards personally. As you all know, I've sold my heart and soul to medium gray.
This is more my style of gray.
Yes.
Because it's got a brown undertone.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But like it's just so beautiful, and it really does work with these giant stitches to not make them like overwhelming.
And the best part is the price point.
Yeah, which is
Yeah,
ridiculous.
it was super reasonable. So this 400-gram cone is only $55 Canadian.
Hello!
Yeah, so we have we have sample cones in the store, and we will order these for you on special order if the jumbo knitting thing is something that you want to give a try.
If you're desperate for jumbo knitting, we have you now.
We got you covered.
We got you covered. In other exciting things that only come from Blue Sky, which is kind of like a trend with them, I think we need to talk about the worsted weight cotton. Because it comes in a palette of colors that is mind-bogglingly, overwhelmingly gigantic, which is awesome. But it is unlike any other cotton I've ever felt. And because it's a worsted weight, you would expect it to be dense and heavy. That same way when you feel like a fingering weight cotton, you're like, oh, this is made of cotton.
Yeah.
But this, you can barely even feel it.
Yeah, one of my main complaints about cotton, a lot of people think that cotton is soft naturally, but it's not, especially when it's in heavier weights. Like, yeah, it's soft.
It can be a little ropey.
When it's knit, like, at a cobweb, weight,
density.
machine knit, yeah, sure, it's soft. But as soon as it gets heavier, it's kind of stringy. And we don't know what exactly they have done to this organic worsted cotton. But it is super soft, and it's not stringy at all. It has, I don't even really know how to describe it. Like, it
has like a medium 2-ply twist to it, but the final fabric is just, it's wonderfully smooth and soft and warm, but still being light. I can't...
And it's got a bit of squish too.
Yeah, it does have squish. Like, there is loft in it. There's lots of air trapped in the fibers. Yeah, it's completely unique, and you kind of have to see it to believe it. So definitely come in for this one, because it's great.
Pardon me. So this is one of the reasons why we like took notice of Blue Sky Fiber, because both of us are like not really cotton knitters at all. But we were like, whoa, this is when we would actually work with.
And so if you have fiber-sensitive people out there in your lives and you've been holding off making them stuff for Christmas or other things like that, this is your perfect year-round solution for your fiber-sensitive friends.
Yeah, and that Caledonia cowl too is a great wardrobe staple. Super simple. You get that marled look by just holding 2 strands together and rotating through the accent colors. Yeah.
Nice and easy. So
the next thing we'll go to is the wool stock, because we've already sort of touched on it. So this is a super great value. We have the neutral shades in the big 150s for $29.99, and then the 50-gram accent colors
for $10.99 each
for like fine Highland wool, and
which is crazy.
It's so good, and the softness of it and the beautiful like sophisticated heathered shades are
beautiful palette.
So, like, we think this is a really good value workhorse.
Especially
yarn.
if you're doing colorwork sweaters for like the whole family and Lopi isn't your jam.
It's a great substitute.
It's a great substitute. It goes right in where the Let Lopi would go usually for you. It's in that worsted to Aran weight category. It's a little bit softer to touch. It's a little bit fluffier and lighter.
Yeah.
And it still has that nice big palette. And because you're only getting a 50-gram ball, not tons of leftovers, but you can also feel free to go nuts and do 4 or 5 colors in one sweater.
Yeah, and it's not going to cost a fortune. So that's great. And
with the big skeins for the base color, you're only buying like 3 to 4, which is
awesome. Like for your medium-sized Lopi, I think that you only need 3 of the big guys.
3 of the big guys and 4 of the small guy.
Yeah, so it's
pretty nuts.
It's a pretty $100 sweater for like really high quality.
For like heirloom quality wool. It's gonna last forever.
Yeah, so we love that.
We do love it.
The next thing that we're gonna talk about is this brushed Suri.
So I'm knitting with this right now at home. I don't. Have you started knitting with it yet?
Not yet, no.
It's inappropriately soft.
Yeah.
Like I don't quite know what to do. Like I feel like I need to be knitting it alone in a room by myself with no one else watching and like soft music playing in the background.
It's like a little bit obscene. Is
it is a little obscene.
It's like a little inappropriate.
Yeah, like I wouldn't want my priest to see me doing it, that's for sure. Oh my goodness.
So like you may have noticed in some of the magazines, one of the trends this year is this like super fluffy. So
I'm into it.
The brush Suri can be knit on its own for a number of different
really cool different fabrics. It has a huge gauge range on it.
Yeah, so you could do a lace project with it. If you want a lace with a lot of fluff, you can just knit it like DK
for like a nice warm rich fabric. But in my opinion, the way to really unlock the maximum joy of the brush Suri is to pair it with the psychotically soft Metallico, a yarn that makes no sense because they shine like metal. Every single one of them looks like actual metal, and there's no... One second while I readjust the world's most reasonable scarf. And there's no synthetic products in it whatsoever. The blending is so on point. Like...
It looks metallic just with the natural colors and the way that the fibers have been blended.
So incredible.
And it's irresistibly soft.
Yeah.
And this like a braided skein, even though that's just like superficial.
So precious.
It makes you really like want it.
When you're unraveling it to wind it, you like take this extra minute because the skein's been braided, so you have to like gently tease it apart with your hands. And it seems like such a small thing, but like adding a little bit extra of that sensuous level to the enjoyment of this does not go unwasted, that's for sure.
So like for how special this is at $22.99, like we think that's a great
I think they're both a great value at $22.99.
And it's got a beautiful drape. This is the Zelda wrap. Hopefully in this light you can sort of see the metallic sheen that's on it. This is the pearl color, and it's got a beautiful drape and softness.
It does have a delicate but evident stitch definition as well. And
very gentle halo. So we love this yarn so much. And since we've gotten Blue Sky, I'd say that this has been the best-selling one so far, probably right before the wool stock.
It's because there's a problem where when you pick it up, you're unable
You can't put it down.
Yeah, like, you're physically unwilling to be separated from it. I think we tried to shoplift some from, like, TNNA.
You just see it and you're like
this is mine now.
This is mine.
Oh, no.
This belongs to me. So that's our collection of Blue Sky fibers yarns that we have in the store at the moment. So please come down and see them. The shipping is really fast and super reasonable too. So we're happy to do any kind of special orders if there's colors.
And if you've been dreaming of maybe jumping in on a crazy Stephen West knit along.
Well, what hat are you knitting with that, Ethan? You've got a hat pattern from Rain that you're doing.
I am doing the Hola Hat from, I believe it's Jonna, one of the editors from Lina, who wrote that one up. It is available on Ravelry on its own. It is absolutely great. It's a great brioche beginners project, and in the hat pattern, if you can get a DK weight like this, you only have to hold it single. So it takes 1 in 1 skein. You get a whole hat out of it, and it's so soft and rich and warm. It's bonkers.
And I love this color combination.
Yeah, the color combination is, in my opinion, clutch. And because of how many different shades, because there's 6, I believe, of the Metallico, you can really like work with the whole range of colors in the brush Suri. So if you want to go bright, there's the beautiful pearl or the platinum that you can use. There are several rich warm tones if you want to aim to like a more toasted marshmallow shade with your brush Suri. Like, the depth between both
even
products,
the gray and the
like there's no bad way to go.
Or you could go for a monochrome
exactly, or like really high contrast and go with the gray and the white. There's no bad choices. But we do have some very cute things to discuss.
We have more notions, and this is just the beginning. I have been sourcing all kinds of fun gift ideas for Christmas this year. You guys really surprised me last year with how much you loved the little doodads and fun things. I
really surprised me with how much I love the little doodads and fun things. Like, I need you to know that was not the case. And now I'm like, if you take those tiny scissors away from me, I'm going to throw myself off a bridge. But seriously.
So we've got these little stitch marker tins from NNK Press. Sorry.
Yes.
NNK Press. And they're made by Firefly Notes out in British Columbia. It's got hand-poured resin, and it just slides open like a pillbox. So you might already have some tins like this. But what's special about this one, in addition to having the magnetized bottom, it's got these like itty-bitty little bonsai scissors that are like totally cute.
They're so adorable.
And irresistible. I probably should have pre-opened this.
And don't forget, they're small enough to go through your TSA pre-check.
Yeah, look how look how teeny and cute they are.
Exactly. So especially for all you traveling knitters out there, this little rescue tin with all the stuff in it that won't be confiscated while you're visiting friends abroad this holiday season.
And it's also got everything else you need. It's got T-pins, it's got a darning needles, both kinds of stitch markers.
Both kinds of stitch, because there's literally nothing worse than being halfway through a project and realizing you didn't bring a removable stitch marker.
Yeah, that's really annoying. Oh. And we also have, for the sock knitters and Lopi knitters too, who need to graft sleeves and things like that. You can't really see very well probably this, but I'll put a photo.
It's super great. It's a Kitchener Stitch sock, so it has all of your instructions for doing Kitchener Stitch from beginning to end on a handy little reference that you can clip onto all of your other things. And spoiler alert,
you could slip it in this little tin.
Slip it right into your little tin.
Yeah, so it's really handy. If you're like me, like you don't do Kitchener Stitch enough to remember exactly how to get it started every single time, or you kind of do, but you just want a little refresher so that you don't screw it up.
If you're like me, you only use Kitchener Stitch for endless sew and bind offs. So
yeah, this is a really cute gift for the knitter on your list.
I hardcore agree.
We also have new from NNK Press is these little Notion pouches too. It's a little canvas pouch with a floral detail
in that tube shape.
Yeah,
it's so great.
It stands out on its own because it's got the coated canvas inside, and they're always so good with attention to detail. It's got this really adorable flower pull
that matches the print
on the zipper, and then when you look at the inside, it's all coated.
Yeah, exactly. So like your pen ink and other stuff isn't gonna like come seeping through, and those tube shapes are great for those like your stitch markers and your stitch holders and all of your crochet hooks, your little notions and your scissors, anything that's like long and thin and
DPNs.
Yeah, because so many of our like notions are these smaller rectangular things. You don't always want to have like a big giant notions pouch like the ones that I tend to be fond of because I'm a monster. You just want something easy that kind of gets everything in.
It's like your knitting pencil case.
I have to say, as you might know already, I'm a big fanatic of the natural leather stitch marker pouch from our good friends at Fringe Supply Co. But to torture me, they also make them in black. So if you've been sitting out there thinking to yourself, gee golly whiz, I really need a new stitch marker pouch, I don't.
Yeah, but that won't stop you.
No, I've already bought one, obviously. Don't be insane. These stitch marker pouches are huge. It comes with a bunch of really great brass markers that just sit so nicely on the needle.
Pretty.
And I just love, love, love these little pouches. They never pop open in your bag unexpectedly. And now if you already have a natural one and you want to use one for your removal markers and one for your regular, that's exactly what I'm about to start doing. Then grab a black one.
Just came up with that idea on the spot. This is handmade too.
Yeah, it is handmade, and you can really like, I don't know, I just love the feel of all the like natural tanning that they do on their leathers. The like texture is so nice. Last but not least, we have the Knitting Noodles enamel pin. You might also not be able to see this one super well, but it is just super, super adorable. It's a little hand using knitting needles as chopsticks with a tiny little ball of yarn. And spoiler alert, I don't know if you do this, but when I'm knitting, if I'm eating snacks, I actually eat them with chopsticks so that my fingers don't get gross and my yarn doesn't get gross.
I don't do that.
You really should.
I feel like you're probably alone.
It'll change your knitting.
Or one of few.
If you also do this, please comment below and let us know. We want to know who else is out there who's doing this, because that is a great idea, trust me.
So this is also from NNK Press. They're kind of well, she's the queen of
they're really onto it.
Cute little knitting doodads that we have here in the store. And then as we get closer to Christmas and the next podcast episode, I'm sure we're gonna have another round of adorable gift ideas to show you.
Yes.
So this is our favorite things.
Our favorite things for this session.
We had to cut it. We had to cut it down a little bit because
there was some editing.
There's so much going on, but we'll try to.
It's overwhelming in a good way.
Yeah, it's that time of year. It's like our favorite time of year. When all of the
wonderful time of the year, right before Christmas, but not before we're all crying knitting things on the 24th at 11:30 at night.
Yeah. And you give people damp Christmas presents on Christmas Day.
There's nothing like a present that still has the needles in it.
Sorry, it's still a little bit wet, guys. A little damp. You might want to,
It's got 3/4 of a sleeve.
Here's a picture of what it will look like. Yeah.
Classic. All right, well, we will catch you a little bit later with, I think, some trunk show, maybe.
Yeah. Yeah, we've got some really good stuff to show you. So because we're a Brooklyn Tweed destination store, we're really lucky to be able to have the trunk shows as the collections are released. So we're one of the first stores, if not the first store, to have the Brooklyn Tweed Deep Fall collection trunk show here in the store. It's here for the rest of the week until October the 28th. So we're going to give you a virtual trunk show right now to get you excited to come visit us and get your hands on some of these garments.
So stretch those hands out towards your computer screens and let's get going.
Yeah. So I'll start. I'm actually wearing the Leander scarf. This is by Veronique Avery, and you may have noticed on Ravelry that everybody's designing for brioche these days.
Brioche is the new thing.
It's a super hot technique right now.
Agreed.
And Ethan's actually a bit of a brioche connoisseur.
I love to do brioche. This is great, especially if you're a beginner, because it's one color brioche, and because it's knit flat, it means you're only using one of the two brioche stitches. So while this looks really complicated, it's actually a lot simpler to make than you might anticipate.
And Ethan's also wearing one of his favorite new accessories.
The High Pines hat. You guys might remember from a couple years ago the High Pines cowl. So this is a companion piece to it that comes up into this nice snug little cap shape. It's knit up in Arbor. And yeah, I like it. It's really tight and just like suctioned onto your head.
It's a great little beanie to keep your noggin warm for the winter. The next thing that we have here is the Haskell cardigan. This guy is by Gudrun Johnson, and this is what I'm going to be making out of this collection. It's something that you can just throw on over top of anything. It's made with quarry. This particular sample is in the granite colorway, and we just love all of the texture.
These like exploded garter rib cables are just awesome.
And the garter stitch all around the edges instead of ribbing is a touch that I absolutely love. I love how squishy it is and how flat it sits.
Yeah, and it's just a little bit more inviting, especially if you're looking for something that's a little bit more of a relaxing knit as we kind of like transition to this wintry, fall-y time. There's nothing like just pounding out some garter stitch on the couch with a few too many glasses of wine.
Yeah, absolutely. So this one is super cozy, a wardrobe staple.
Speaking of brioche, This guy features triple brioche down here in the center and our regular brioche stitch on the edges. It's also designed by Berenick Avery, and this handsome gentleman's name is Aldous. Knit up in shelter. It also features that one-sided brioche construction, so it's not going to be quite as taxing for those of you who are newer to the stitch, but you'll get all this depth and dimension out of it. Plus, if you wear it with your Leander scarf, you'll be super warm.
And they make a great Christmas gift for that special, it's technically a man's sweater, so maybe special guy,
Special
but
gentleman in your life.
any special person who loves to be swathed in brioche, this would be a great
And
option.
especially with someone who likes to be outdoors in the winter and fall, this guy's going to be a great choice, because this with a scarf and maybe a hat is warm enough, no coat needed.
So one of my favorites here is the Svensson sweater. This is Jared Flood Svensson, and the original one is actually a men's pattern, but this has been updated with some feminine shaping, and also just the neckline is a little bit more
a little bit tighter,
compact, and the shaping around the shoulders to fit a woman's body a little bit more closely. I love how this is a modern riff on like the traditional Aran sweater.
Me too.
And I actually knit the men's version of this pattern last year and absolutely adore it. And my favorite little detail is this here. This is the raglan seam, and Jared has hidden it like expertly in between this little cable twist. And
so
I
you
just
follow it right up.
those little details I just absolutely love. It's like perfectly invisible, and he's used a design element to kind of improve what can sometimes be a difficult transition in your garment.
Yeah, it is a lovely feature. I'm actually going to be knitting an Arbor sweater from this collection. Shockingly to everyone, it's going to be my third turtleneck of the year. That's right, Bloom by Nora Gone, which features this really interesting cable technique that again is utilizing that garter stitch hidden right in the center there, but it makes this overall textural fabric by using little bits of hidden cables. I don't know quite how to like explain it.
I love this. It's kind of like a little peekaboo garter stitch.
Yeah, peekaboo garter stitch.
There's like two little garter stitches that just kind of peek out in
Slide
between.
out.
Yeah, in between the cable, and it's just that little hit of texture that's absolutely beautiful. And this is just like a wear all the time.
Yeah, I don't ever intend to take it off. Like, you will be burying me in this eventually.
And the color is Rainier,
Yes.
which is absolutely beautiful. It's kind of this pale blue with just a hint of green to it.
Yeah.
And we also love the new color Love It,
Which
too,
is
for this
probably
project.
where I think I'm going to be going with mine.
Yeah, even this color looks great on you. But I
you.
think that the Love It...
The Love It will add a little more depth.
just a bit richer.
Were you thinking of geode for your Haskell? That lovely soft lavender, maybe?
I don't know. I have a brown problem.
You do have a brown addiction.
I really want to do it in Flint.
Oh.
As you can see, I love brown. All of my like go-to sweaters are brown, but I think it's just so warm and it goes with all the jewel tones, which I really love as well.
That's true. I think I'm going to try to convince you to break out of the shell. Should we hit up the hooves next?
Yeah, so Julie Hoover. So many of you may have seen Berenice, the kids version. So Julie has updated this pattern, I think, at many a request. I've seen lots of requests on Ravelry.
Lots of people online looking for
this, and it's been done in 2 different yarns here. So the one here on the bust form is in Peary, and the colorway is Admiral. And we love this one because it has this like black undertone to the blue and an incredible sheen.
And a really great crispness to the lace detail. And the cable just seems to pop out in 3 dimension at you.
Yeah, and then she's also done it in Loft, which is the woolen spun. This is in Snowbound. And we like this as well as more kind of a dreamy,
like
rustic,
farmhousey, throwing it on. It's great with jeans. It's one of those like classic wintertime sweaters that's just a perfect light layer. In that boxy shape, but giving you all of this detail and elegance in the center really helps it to still feel crisp and tailored while giving you lots of drape and extra fabric.
And it really just has that soft look to it.
Yeah, there's nothing like Loft out there. It has its own unique character as soon as it's blocked.
And this is like a prime example of the difference between Brooklyn Tweed's core woolen and worsted spun yarns. So you can see you have the high sheen and crisp stitch definition versus that tweedy, rustic, kind of
elegant
dreamy,
lightness.
look.
Yeah.
So we got one left.
One left.
This is Solène. This is by Veronique
So
too,
beautiful.
isn't it?
Yeah, she is still on fire.
Yeah, we think Veronique Avery is like off the chain right now.
Yeah.
She's completely on fire. Everything that she puts out has
Just
been
in love with it.
absolutely beautiful. And you might be thinking, there's not much to this. It's just stockinette. But it's got this like beautiful kind of wide crop detail, which is really in fashion
It has
right
very
now.
intricate shaping all the way through the shoulder and the top of the sleeve. So you're getting a lot more dimension than a standard raglan. And it has those fashion decreases, which just give a little bit of like tailored luxury to the edges there.
And then this little stand-up collar is really cute. It's kind of like a compromise if you don't really want a full turtleneck, but you want something that's
turtleneck. That's just crazy.
me. I don't want a full turtleneck. I would absolutely burn up. So if you are going to burn up, but you would like to not have to wear a scarf or a shawl,
This guy is for you.
This would be a beautiful choice. But this is one of those ones that you have to see in person.
Yeah.
Because it's so
It's
simplistic.
so sophisticated and subtle.
Yeah. So do come and visit us. All of these sample garments are going to be here until October 28th before they have to go to the next store.
No!
I know, we're going to miss them so much.
We'll just have to start knitting.
Yeah, exactly. We'll have to knit them up so we won't miss them.
Exactly.
And I'm sure you'll find a project here that you'd love to make.
Yeah, we can't wait to see you.